friends to a podcast that's been described as
emotional
and
terrifying.
one guy even said it was
So awesome it will shock you to the core.
finally another podcast about
Godzilla!
and all his giant monster friends.
This could be the end of civilization.
Yeah, probably. So join your hosts, KES and Slick.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're listening to the podcast from Odo Island. Hey, welcome to the podcast from Odo Island. Follow us all across the internet at Odo Island Pod. I am KES drinking a blueberry iced coffee, and with me as always is the green Marlinchi with the three-pronged crown. Slick, what's up?
Well,
Well,
I can't really do that good. We're recording this on Saturday, where it's still 2023. But as of when this episode drops, it's 2024.
just like that episode where Mankind won the title.
Yeah, pre-taped. Nice little pre-tape. So, I don't know. Happy New Year to you, I guess. But, you know, with the start of a new year, we reflect on the past year.
Yeah.
We have a lot of end-of-the-year awards to give out for both of us, you know.
It's like a 2023 wrap-up.
Some razzies to give out as well.
Oh,
You know, there's going to be a few winners, few losers from 2023. We have 3 episodes of Monarch to cover, 6, 7, and 8. And, yeah, you know, here we are, kicking off 2024 with a bang.
Yeah. When we kick it off, can we talk about any news at the last 2 weeks of 2023 that I might have missed?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big noteworthy thing to discuss is that Godzilla X Kong figures are making the rounds now. Slowly, they have not made their way over to us. But they're looks like they're on the West Coast right now. This seems to be the way. I've realized figure releases just go. They start on the West Coast, gradually work their way over to the East Coast.
It's like a very slow reverse time zone thing.
Yeah,
Instead of being 3 hours, it's like 3 weeks.
yeah. It feels like it'll yeah. Hopefully we have them before New Empire comes out. But I will at least say this: the MonsterVerse generally has been very good about getting figures out close in time, if not ahead of the movie. Whereas somebody like Hasbro, who does like the Star Wars figures, drops a show like The Mandalorian, and then it takes like almost a full year to get your first true Mandalorian Baby Yoda figures, which wasn't a whole year, but it was a long time after that show wrapped up.
And I feel like Baby Yoda is like the biggest marketing opportunity of all time.
I just could not believe how it's fine now, but I just could not believe at the time when that show first dropped that they were so far behind on merchandising it.
Baby Yoda and BB-8 are like the biggest marketing opportunities that Star Wars has pretty much like ever had.
Yeah, it's so good on you, Playmates, for that. But so neither of us have these in hand. Neither have seen these in person. I'm not going to consider these spoilers anymore. If they are, there are some keychains that have leaked that are a little spoilery. So I won't discuss those.
Okay, good, because I don't even know about those.
Okay, yeah. So I won't discuss those because there is a spoiler that, is in that lineup.
But like, I feel like everyone has seen
everything else I think is
the pictures of the toys that are in stores now.
Yeah, so I think that's totally fair.
I feel like the blood is not on our hands.
Yeah. I think once toys or merchandise like in general hits stores, then I think you're free to talk about it. I mean, it's hard to avoid that. So we got a variety of things so far. I mean, there was already the evolved Godzilla, which has been leaked for a long time now. Mm-hmm. But we got our first kind of clear look at Shimu, who's kind of like the ice dragon character.
And you've seen Shimu in like the walls of
from the Call of Duty in the Call of Duty.
So it has been like sort of like, I don't know if you would call it a leak or not, or a spoiler.
Tease.
A tease. Yeah, it's a tease. So you have had that before. So it looks like that.
I would say looking at the box, like the actual like render from the movie for Shimo, like Shimo looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I have not really been too impressed with how the figures look, but maybe I just got to see them in hand. It just seems like they're just big, low detailed low painted figures, but
yeah, I mean, Shimu's like white with like blue spikes.
yeah, like they're there, but it's like in the render, it's like it seems like ones that should be blue are like just painted white in the
Yeah.
figure, and they look a little flat. But
Well, maybe like the plastic isn't even painted; it's just like a white plastic.
molded, molded in it with some blue highlights. So,
Yeah.
so I guess that's gonna I think that's gonna be one of those things I'll kind of reserve judgment until I actually see it. There's been some other Playmates figures that I thought like looked like garbage, like when you see the pictures of them, and then they've been a lot better once I've seen them in person. But what's interesting is that like there's like a single pack Shimu, Godzilla, and Kong, but then we're also getting like 2-packs. And I don't know if like they're in different scales with each other. Like I don't know if the 2-packs are one scale and then the solo figures are at different scales. Like that's a little unclear to me.
Playmates does a real good job of not scaling things. With
Yeah,
figures.
I'm hoping at least if you get the 2-packs, like at least all of that will be in scale.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. And Jax wasn't good at this either. So
Yeah.
I don't.
Jax was even worse.
Yeah,
like
I'm
just talking about like the Titan Tech figures are bigger. They don't. Scale
Oh
with
right.
the other
They don't
figures.
scale
like,
anything
I'm
else.
going from different lines to different lines. Like the lines that are in together scale pretty well together.
Yes, yeah. I will say you don't have the Playmates legendary Ghidorah. Like that doesn't scale very well because it's like it's the same height as all the other figures,
but it needs
which
to be
means that Ghidorah is like shrunk down.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's a little awkward, but whatever. The Scar King figure looks pretty good. I mean, he does look the figure form. He looks a lot like what's that like red Titan in
the
Attack on
Colossus
Titan?
the Colossal
Colossus Titan. Okay, yeah, looks a lot like that.
He does, yeah.
But there's like also like kind of like a bigger bigger ones that are like they're doing like the Battle Roar series again, and that Scar King figure looks really really good.
Mm-hmm.
The Kong one like looks like it might just be a reworked Battle Roar figure from the original one, which I always thought was a cool figure, but it seems like they just kind of remolded a new head, so that's kind of cool. The Godzilla Battle Roar one doesn't look too different from
it's just pink.
Yeah, I meant from like the other evolved
red.
Godzillas in the line.
Mm.
Like it looks like a very similar pose, very similar mold. I wonder, but it looks like it might be a little taller. It's a little hard to say right now. And then there's also been there's also Suko, who is, we are assuming, Kong's son or Kong's adopted son or whatever. And we get the official toy line debut of Doug. So there you go.
I did see Doug was in there, so
Yep.
good on them for finally realizing that that's a good opportunity to make a couple bucks.
Yep. Again, Hasbro, you waited forever to do that Baby Yoda. Playmate said, we are going to...
Hold my beer.
How many people I mean, I'm a completist, so I would have bought all of them regardless, but I feel like having Doug in there and like I think that's very smart to make that decision and go like, listen, we're going to play to the internet on this one, who like made him a meme. We're going to strike while the iron's hot. And also they're going to call him Doug.
They have named him Doug.
Yep. I still remember on Twitter with like some random account and I mean, not like random, but just, I don't remember the name of the person who did it, but they were just like, in a retweet, we're just like, oh, we'll call him Doug. And it was just like, that was it. And then everyone just like latched onto it and thought it was funny. I mean, I thought it was funny when I saw it. And I hope that person is getting, got something out of this.
Yeah.
But,
Give him 5 points at the back end.
yeah. So also what's cool is that there's some minifigures that are coming in like, did you see the crystal packs? Those are in stores now too.
I haven't seen the crystal packs.
So they're basically just they're minifigures,
Mhm.
but they're gonna all kind of come like in like a little color coded like crystal plastic case that looks like they could be in. So they're not like blind bags or anything like that. Like
you can see them.
it's like Godzilla's kind of got like a pinkish crystal. Shimu's got like a bluish one. I forget what Kong and Skull Kong was, and I think Doug might be in that line too. But either way, you at least get all the main characters in that.
Cool.
So like they look like cool, like little minifigures.
No, that's a good idea. I like that.
And that kind of been overlooked, but has been showed up in some pictures, is that there are roaring Godzilla and Kong masks that are also out. So, that kind of falls under the do I need to collect everything category, and I don't know about that one. We'll see.
All right.
But I don't know if they're like cheap enough. Why wouldn't I? So,
There's one other toy I want to talk about. We might have talked about it previously, but there's that remote control Godzilla.
Oh yeah, I think we might have touched on that
Oh,
last
God, that looks
episode.
so awesome.
Yeah, that one's being made by Jada Toys. I'm
Yeah.
not too familiar with them, but yeah, that one looks great. I do have more. I'm more confident that it is going to be like a cheaper to $20 to $30 figure, not some like high end like.
Just like the steam that comes out to simulate the atomic breath. I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's so
silly.
good.
I love it.
Like I know there's like a Bowser figure that's out like in Targets and stuff that does the same thing, and one of our mutual friends, like they bought it for like their kids, and I saw that in action like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, oh my god, if the Godzilla toy's like this, it's like the same thing. You put water in it, and, like Bowser walks and like blows steam, and I was like, oh god.
I like how the remote control too is like an Xbox controller.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Yeah, do you have kind of initial opinions or thoughts on the figures now that we're getting more pictures of them, how they look?
Yeah, they look pretty decent from what I could see. Like, these aren't like collector's items; they're toys. So,
Yes, yeah.
So like, lower your expectations, but overall, like, they're good.
Yep.
I don't have any problems with any of them.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. It like I was trying to like look at like the Godzilla in particular to see if there was like it almost looks like the legs might be like reused from the past molds. But it's a little hard to tell.
BCAs.
Yeah, it's just like I think as like toy collectors we get really good at picking out like reused parts from like other molds, and I know it's like a cost saving measure and stuff like that, but I'm sure whether it's a new mold or not, I'm sure like or 100% new mold or not, I'm sure these will get about 1 million repaints over the next 2 years. and well, hey, you know what? Whatever. That's fine. That's fine.
I almost feel like NECA's gonna release like 5 more Kongs.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be cool if like Bandai starts making movie monster series figures of all these characters. Kind of took them a while to get on board with the MonsterVerse, but once they did, I thought they were all pretty good. So
it might just be like a licensing thing with Playmates too.
Yeah, they could have like some sort of like I don't know if they release Playmates. No, they don't release. We know for a fact they don't release Playmates toys in Japan. So
so it might be.
I wonder if it's like a region thing and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's all
goddamn exclusivity deals.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Even though these have been showing up in Walmart, it's not. Apparently, they're not exclusive, or at least that's the belief that they're not exclusive.
I hate that.
Yeah, I think I remember like Playmates saying that like like the Walmart exclusivity deal kind of ended halfway through the GVK run, and hence why we always see that stuff in Target now. But like, so I have not read anything that said these are exclusive to Walmart, but they have just been showing up in Walmarts to this point.
Yeah,
but that makes sense because I don't know how big Target is like on the West Coast compared to Walmart. I imagine Walmart has much more penetration out there.
Yeah, it's weird. We live in an area where there's a lot more Targets than Walmarts.
Yeah.
But like, I actually work like half a mile away from a Walmart now.
Yep.
So it's like I could go and check like whatever I want now.
But that particular Walmart, like they stopped carrying Godzilla stuff particularly early.
Yeah.
Like during the GVK run. So, but when they had them, they had a good amount.
Yeah.
So they were just one of the first ones to kind of stop that. But so yeah, I enjoy a good figure hunt on the weekend. So I'm glad that I'm going to be able to kind of do that again.
Yeah.
So
I actually have a pretty good joke about that Walmart, but I'm not going to make it. I'll make it to you off air.
Okay. Very good.
It's nothing bad. It's not good pod material.
Gotcha. That's and we are only the finest purveyors of pod product.
No, but I mean, like it's wrestling related.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, anything else on the figures?
No, I'm excited for these. I think they're I think Shamu and Scar King are going to be good additions, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yep,
because they're both kind of like weird offshoots of Godzilla and Kong.
Yes.
Like a mirror match.
It's just like I've been saying, create your own Godzilla, create your own Kong. You can keep the MonsterVerse going. Should you lose, well, you won't have to worry about Kong, but should the licensing deal with Godzilla ever run out, at least you're creating stars for the future.
Yeah.
Is what you're doing. Yeah. So that's what I've been saying all along. But, I can't really complain. The MonsterVerse is done. Even though we certainly have had critiques about different things in the MonsterVerse, like
it's not perfect,
it's
but
been
it's
a
fun.
very cohesive. It's been a very cohesive run for the last 10 years now. So
MonsterVerse is like 10 times better than the DCEU. RIP.
Oh my god, it ended 3 times this year. That universe. So, all right. Well, shall we move on to Monarch?
Yeah, speaking of the Monsterverse, we watched 3 episodes of Monarch Legacy of Monsters.
Yes.
I guess we'll start at the first episode, episode 6.
Yes, which was Terrifying Miracles. This was kind of highlighted by Godzilla reappearing in both timelines. We actually got both timelines.
Yep.
That was nice.
Yep.
And I guess the other big thing was the Shaw and Keiko romance, kind of took a little bit of a development in the 50s. I guess that was kind of the big things from that episode. But, also we had the 2015 Scooby Gang, chasing their father across the world, seeing him briefly, then he disappears. And that was right there was about all the advancement of their character development and plots in 2015.
I have one question. When do they eat?
Yeah. in those long van rides and stuff like that. So
yeah, I'm just kidding around.
We kind of got the beginnings of Tim's babyface turn in episode 6. I don't know. I thought at the time it was, now almost 3 weeks ago, like I thought it was a pretty good episode. I shouldn't say pretty good. I thought it was a good episode.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate the 1950s stories a lot more.
Yeah.
Godzilla like appearing in both. Like, I just feel like Godzilla just needs to be doing more than sort of just like appearing and then like kicking a ball and going away.
Well, I thought his appearance in the 50s was better because they're like, oh shit, we didn't kill him. In 2015, he just woke up.
Yeah.
So 50s, it carried some weight. 2015, it was like just kind of we're having a cool shot to have a cool shot.
Yeah. So I'll compare it, like, even though it's an unfair comparison to like -1, how we talked about in our review, like it doesn't matter how much Godzilla was in that movie, which was plenty, but it was like how he was used, which was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And I just feel like Monarch is like so far is like missing it on Godzilla. Like he's not doing anything of like consequence. He's just appearing. And I just feel like he needs to be doing more. Maximize your minutes, kid.
Yeah. Yeah. I go back to what I think is going to be a recurring theme as we go through these 3 episodes. Like, just like how I just said, when he appears in the 50s, you're like, oh shit, that's like important. Like, because, a really good job was done, like kind of, building up to like that bomb going off in his face and, but everything, like, it feels like, I don't know if this is true or not, but it just feels like there's 2 different writing teams for the 50s and the 2015 crew. And
Probably.
Everything with the 50s is like just so much better fleshed out, so much better developed, presented better. Like, it's just, like I said, even Godzilla making that little appearance in the 50s, done way better than it was in 2015, where he just wakes up. Yeah, you get a cool shot of him coming out of the sand, but like, I don't know. It's just nothing. Nothing really progresses in 2015.
A lot of the 2015 stuff has been like the group like splitting apart and coming back together, and like, I don't know. That just doesn't work for me, pal.
Yeah, we got like, and I guess we can kind of merge it into like the 7th episode, which was the will the real May please stand up. Like, we get these backstories from May, and we got these backstories for Kate earlier, and actually I thought the Kate stuff was like really interesting.
Yeah.
And really, I was like, okay, that's gonna be cool. Like, if we're gonna get into this more. She's got these like relationship troubles. She's got this trauma from the bridge on G-Day.
You got the Katara one too.
Yeah.
Which I didn't find particularly enthralling.
Yeah, I'll come back to Kentaro. And like, and May kind of got her backstory too, but like with both of them, especially Kate's, which now has just been dropped for like several episodes now. And for the first chunk of the show, I thought Kate was actually the most like interesting character. Mm-hmm. And now I kind of think she's
it's definitely Shaw.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's Shaw in both timelines. Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Or actually, the 50s timeline. I think all 3 of them are pretty good.
Cool. I like
Kiko. I think all 3 of them. They're really good as a group in the 50s timeline. But Shaw. Yeah, so we haven't even gotten to Shaw yet, because I guess he is like kind of the most interesting thing going on in 2015. Like, did he kind of make a heel turn, or is he just like a tweener now?
They sort of played it off that way, but like it's more like he's doing what he thinks is right, but it might not be right.
Yes, and I do like. I mean, Kurt Russell does a really good job playing Shaw. Like that stuff like always kind of has me interested, like when he's on screen. And I did like kind of jumping ahead to the 8th episode when Kate was like, oh, is this all just about like because you lost her hair? And he's like, yeah, exactly. I was like, that was refreshing. That it was just like, he didn't try to like drag it out some long speech. He's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a big part of it.
Yeah.
What do you want me to tell you? Of course it is. So I think everything he's doing in 2015 is at least interesting. I don't know, like it kind of came out of the blue. Like I was like, this is a pretty intricate plan you have.
It comes out of the blue a little bit, but it also sort of justifies why like Monarch had him like pretty much imprisoned.
Yeah, but like when was he planning this? Like 2 weeks ago, he was like in his like old folks home.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, well, that's the old folks home was actually like a prison.
Right.
Like that's probably why they had him locked up, was because he's been trying to do it since like probably the late 50s.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is like I don't know if it's like clear to me like was he concocting this like with the other Monarch people like and just kind of lying in wait, or did he get out of there and then kind of convert a whole bunch of Monarch people to his cause like over like the last like 2 weeks? You know what I mean? Like I can't tell if this is like a plan that he's been like piecing together over the years.
Yeah.
Or is it like, yeah, he had this idea, but now once he gets out and he's with the Scooby Gang, like does he then start and he's like locked up like when they kind of held him all like a few episodes ago?
I think
was he converting people then?
No, I think what happened was like people within Monarch already had their doubts about how Monarch was handling things because of G-Day happening and everything like that. And so like they're looking for like new leadership because they're not happy with how things are going. And so with Kurt Russell being out, like what happened with Duvall, like she like pretty much was just like testing to see like if she was like breaking him out was the right decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I feel like it's sort of like just sort of happened.
Yeah. Do we touch on how she's
the sister of
Bill Cranston's wife?
Yeah.
In the first movie? That's cool. I do like that they are making a lot of connections to stuff that happens in the Monsterverse. But like they're subtle. Well, I guess there was one reveal that was not so subtle. Wasn't there? One that you called. I'm setting you up for this.
I was like, what are you talking about?
I'm setting you up for this.
So in episode 7, I was like sitting there just like making jokes. I'm like, yeah, AET is definitely going to be Apex. like, there's no way it's not, and it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really well done. I did not, May's backstory. I'm glad we got it. I don't think it was like the most. I thought it was going to be like a much like darker backstory, but
I'll be honest, the way I figured it out too is like when I heard the letters were AET, I was like, oh, 8 Apex. It's gonna be the same thing.
But I did like it at the end of it. It's like all the laptop screen or computer screens like turned to like the Apex logo, and I was like, all right, that was pretty sweet. And maybe we'll be able to blame May for Mechagodzilla.
Just like the AEW reveal.
Oh God. Anything else on 7 or 8 before we get to the most recent episode? And then I think we could probably like kind of overarch these 3 episodes together probably.
So yeah, at the end of episode 7 is when you get sort of that Shaw heel turn and he's blowing up the portals. Yeah. Like he blows up the one in Antarctica. Or not, Alaska with the ice monster thing.
Frostbark.
So
we didn't see him die.
But he's probably dead. He's like Chevy Chase.
He probably got sucked into the Hollow Earth.
Maybe. We don't know. But yeah, so that one's closed up. And so that's what Shaw's trying to do is close up all the portals because he believes Godzilla's here to keep us in our world and keep the monsters in that world.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want them cross-mingling. So he thinks that's what Godzilla's trying to do. And so that's why he wants to talk to Kate, is because Kate looked into his eyes. And when you look into someone's eyes, you know the truth.
Yes. Godzilla has seen you.
Yeah. So, but like, they're kind of like, do we know that's like what Godzilla's trying to do? Like, he wants these closed. He might want them open so he can go back too. So there's sort of like a question that like Shaw can't really answer.
Yeah.
And so Shaw's not like 100%, but he's like 97% sure,
Yeah.
But that's good enough for him.
But we also got the double turn, because we also get Tim's face turn, baby face turn is complete in episode 7.
Yeah.
So, which I thought was like, it was well done, although like he came off so creepy in the first few episodes. Maybe I was projecting a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. But that like now he's like the fun, cool, like
I
good
wouldn't
guy.
say cool.
Yeah, I guess he's not cool. But he's like he's like a nerdy fun.
He's like your dorky Donatello.
Yeah. But it was like well done when he comes out of the sand and he like stumbles into the airport and he's like just covered like in all the sand and all the dirt and I was like, all right, I'm on board with this if this is like your big face turn. And yeah, and I think he's delivered since then. He's been very entertaining.
So like
I think in the last 2 episodes.
So like he brings them to Monarch in episode 8 and like Kate and Kitaro are thinking like, you know, our grandparents started this whole thing. Like they're thinking like they're gonna be walking into like pictures of their relatives on the wall, but instead it's like the general.
The Swede
is on the
Swede
wall.
is on the wall.
It's kinda like, that's awesome. So like they were kind of looked at as like pariahs almost.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting to learn.
I like how Tim has Lambda's old office from the 50s.
Yeah.
Which you know, they foreshadow that instantly with him punching the wall in the flashback and then instantly cutting to the future where it's like, oh, look at that hole in the wall. so you know, didn't let that mystery linger, or not mystery, didn't let that one linger though for a long time.
Yeah.
But, you know, that was cool. That happens in the 8th episode.
Yeah.
Birthright. Okay. That was a nice little flawless transition there.
So like this episode I thought was definitely the best of the 3 we watched by probably like several miles.
Yeah, I agree.
We didn't get Godzilla in this one, but what we did get was a fun episode that starts off like they go into the Monarch headquarters and it looks like an episode of 24. And I'm just kind of like, oh man, this is like bring me back to like the early 2000s right now.
Yeah, it did kind of have that vibe.
And then so they're like trying to figure out what's going on, and so they realize that Kiko, they're saying she died in Kazakhstan, so they go to the Kazakhstan portal where the bugs from that first episode that have been pretty much or the second episode that have been forgotten about until now, like Tim stepping on like their
the
exoskeletons. And and so he's like all freaked out, and we get this big giant bug that's crawling out of the Hollow Earth, and it looked so crazy, like it had so many teeth. It must be so uncomfortable to have in your mouth at all times because they're all sharp and pointy, and
maybe that's why it's so pissed off.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. This episode was really good, even with like the lack of monster action, because it was paced just like the first 2 or 3 episodes.
Yes.
Where again, seamless flashbacks, jumping back and forth between the 50s and the 2015s. Because again, the 50s is really interesting, and when you keep jumping back to that, it makes up for the 2015 crew not being that interesting anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like, so it like, you know, okay, they're this kind of more carrying, like they're getting the event stuff in place, but like there's basically no more character development in 2015 outside of Shaw. And like, whereas the 50s, it's like they're just always kind of like those characters were always kind of maturing, evolving. You know, we have like the Keiko Lambda romance is kind of brewing in the 50s. You know, Shaw has like the cool interactions with the Swede where he's trying to get the funding again for Monarch.
Well, he's trying to take control back because the general gave control to like that shitty naval officer.
Yeah.
And he sucks. He's like your typical like condescending like
shitty boss
military guy who's like the bad guy in every mid-90s crappy movie about the military.
But it's like how like the Swede is like he's kind of like indifferent to like Shaw's plea that he's like, we didn't kill him, and he's like, yo, you fucking with me?
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, give you that dossier. But yeah, all that stuff really good, really interesting. You know, 2015s, they're just kind of getting stuff in place now. We saw the Hollow Earth portal.
Not only did we see it, we saw a bunch of people fall into it.
Fell into it.
Which is weird because didn't GVK, they needed like a special ship to go through it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we'll see how that goes. But
wouldn't they just fall and then just like you know how the ships had to like reverse gravity to like correct themselves?
Oh yeah. Or else they were gonna get like crushed or something.
So like they're all dead then.
Presumably. Well, we have May, Kate, Shaw falls in there too, right?
Yep. Kate, she's trying to save Kate, and they both fall in together.
Yeah.
May falls in first, but maybe the bug ate her.
Maybe. Would that be ridiculous if she just died like in a blink and you miss it moment like that.
Well, Kitaro, like we don't know if he fell in or not.
He didn't. I don't think he did.
Yeah, because like he's just like kind of like, what do I do? What do I do? Doesn't know what to do, and the bomb's ticking down, and so like you just see like the building explode, and you don't see him fall into the portal.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like after the bombs go off. Yeah, I assumed he didn't fall in. I assume he's on this side of the portal.
But so he's dead because the bombs exploded in his face.
I mean, hopefully, but which is kind of where I'm at with Kentaro. But like also like Shaw kind of confirmed that like the reason why he looks so young is because he was in the Hollow Earth.
Yeah.
You know, and then he also kind of says like, you know, Keiko was the first person to dive in. You know, presumably they're gonna have a flashback where like that portal gets revealed in the 50s, and she jumps in, and I don't know, maybe she's still alive down there. No, probably not, because he wouldn't be trying to close off the portals then. So she must be dead in the Hollow Earth.
Or maybe she started a society down there.
Maybe.
Or maybe she joined a society that was already down there.
Maybe.
And maybe she's a relative of someone in GXK and GVK.
Maybe everyone's just either lambdas or Brodies or Shaws.
Yeah.
It's all three. The Monsterverse becomes like three families at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone has to be someone something.
Yep. So yeah, I agree. I thought this was also the best episode of the three.
And it's not even close.
And probably the best episode in a while.
Yeah.
Too. So I was like starting to wonder, like, would the show be better if it was like a bingeable show and not like a week? Some shows I think work better as like a week-to-week show, and some I do think work like where you can like binge them all like in one sitting.
I think
short sittings. But
I think the 2015 episodes really needed to be one episode instead of being three different episodes, because I don't know, I just didn't really like them all that much.
Yeah, I thought they started well, but I kind of feel like they have kind of the 2015's crew.
I mean, like the solo 2015 episodes.
Oh,
where you get no flashbacks at all. Like those three episodes, I feel like could all just be condensed into one episode, and then that way you like cut them down. Like you don't need as much development as you got, and like you can combine them all into three episodes. Like we don't need to know all that about Kentaro. The May stuff could have been cut down, so that way you just find out that she was at the job. Like you don't need to know that she was like lured in and had like her work stolen. Like we could trim all that out.
Yeah, I think the episode, the Kentaro flashbacks, was just like, it was so much of the episode, and for like, I mean, he's become like the most like one-dimensional character on the show. He just stands around like sulking and like doesn't really contribute anything anymore. He's just kind of there, and like his contributions are usually complaining or like
his
saying
biggest
something
contribution
negative.
was getting May into the group, and ever since then he's just sort of been like a actually no, in Antarctica he did find the station.
Yeah.
And get them rescued.
It's just you know, he was better in the first two episodes. I was like, all right. I was like, this dynamic between Kate and Kentaro, like that seems really good. Like, you know, they're siblings who just kind of found out about each other. They're having good back and forth, good exchanges, and then like all that's kind of been I feel like pushed to the back burner.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's I don't know. It's a tale of two shows right now.
It really is. Yeah.
It's just that's why I kind of go like, I was like, oh man, if like they dropped all the episodes at once and I could watch all these in like 1 to 2 sittings, like would I be fixating so much of these like complaints as much, or would it, in the grand scheme of things, would it be just like blips on the radar? But it's not how it is. And you know, fortunate for us because we do a bi-weekly podcast and haven't really had to think of content for a few months. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so I think, you know, episodic probably just works out better for us.
Yeah, selfishly, yes. Anything else on these 3 episodes?
Try to think. They did, I guess in the recap they flashed back to Iron Dragon, but you didn't see him. So I was kind of disappointed in that. I was like, oh, maybe we're getting him again, but you got the bugs.
Yeah. Well, there is a pretty sweet clip.
No, I know.
That dropped randomly yesterday, like on, like this. Did you see that? There was like a behind the scenes clip with like Kurt Russell and his kid.
No.
And just randomly in there is a shot of Godzilla fighting either one or multiple Ion Dragons.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, whoa, shit, that was awesome looking. So
yeah, I've seen like the Ion Dragon and Godzilla like clash in like the blip that's been available for a couple weeks now.
Yeah,
but not in.
I won't spoil this clip for you because like when I saw it, I was like, I can't fucking believe this. Now I'm going to sound like a fucking internet wrestling mark. I was like, I just can't believe you gave that away for free.
You're a fucking mark.
It was like, I just can't believe you gave that clip away for free. But
That's a nice teaser, though. We kind of need it because we need more monster action.
Yeah.
I think that's the one biggest detriment to the show. Like, the 1950s stuff has been great. The 2015 stuff started good, and then it's been sort of like floundering. We need more monster action to sort of
the world needs it.
Yeah, the world needs it. We just need it to liven things up, I think. And so there's been like if they had like a big monster fight in like episode like 5 area, I feel like the season would be a lot more streamlined, because then you wouldn't have to wait so long. I do kind of hate waiting so long for like the monster stuff and the monster show to actually happen.
Yeah.
And so this is like the longest you've ever had to wait for it.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest thing. Like, and it's not even like I get it. That's how it's structured. So, and I can't do anything about changing it. But.
Yeah. I feel like this is going to be one of those shows that's going to start really strong and end really strong, and then we'll always kind of skip the middle.
It scoops the mids.
Yeah. Because it's if they do keep back with like the pace that they set for the first 2 or 3 episodes, I feel like it's going to end really, really strong. And like I said, I thought it started really, really strong.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the middle has been a little so-so. But, you know, I think overall, though, like, you know, the show has kind of gotten back on track. And I don't think any of it's been bad outside the stupid quarantine zone episode that we both hated. But it's
and that episode started off okay with the Kate stuff, but then like it just got real shady at the end.
Yeah,
it did not stick the landing.
Yeah. Well, should we rate them before we get to our end of the year awards, our prestigious Odo Island end of the year awards?
Yeah. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah. For episode 7, Terrifying Miracles, giving that one a 3.
What about episode 6?
Oh, sorry. That was episode 6. Terrifying Miracles is episode 6. That's still a 3.
And then with the real May, Please Stand Up is 7.
Yeah, that's a 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I almost gave it a 2, but that's a 3. You know. I kind of had to like look down at my notes like really quick, and I was like, oh yeah, we kind of got the Tim face turn and the Shaw tweener turn. That's enough to make it a 3, I think. And the Apex reveal. I think if the Apex reveal didn't happen, maybe it would still be back to being a 2. And then I would give episode 8, Birthright, that's a 4. Back on track episode. Thought that was a good episode all around. I hope the next 2 kind of flow more like that with a little bit more monster action.
Pretty similar to yours. I'm going 3 for episode 6. I'm going to go to 2 for episode 7. I'm going lower than you. Early podcasts. And then I almost want to give episode 4 a 5, episode 8 a 5, but I'm not going to. I'm giving it a 4.
Yeah, I think it's a good.
There was no real like you got the bug, and that bug was like cool looking. I feel like the next 2 episodes are going to be like 4 to 5s though. Yeah,
I feel good about that too. I feel like
so about that. That's also factoring into my decision to give this one a 4. But I think so far, like episodes 1, 2, and 8 are by far the best episodes of the show.
Agreed.
3 is really good too with the nuclear test or the nuclear attempt to kill Godzilla.
Oh yeah. That might have been the best episode. No, maybe the first 2.
Yeah. That's just like the one thing that I kind of take away from that. But yeah, so 3, 2, 4.
Okay. I went 3, 3, 4.
Yeah.
It's the combination of my luggage. You know, Spaceballs. Well, should we give out some awards?
Yeah. Welcome to the first annual podcast from Odo Island Awards.
Yeah, we'll think of a better name some other time. So, we have a lot of categories we decided to do. I don't really know what the best order is to do these in. I think some are very obvious. So maybe we get some obvious ones out of the way.
Well, you have to stick like the big one last, and you know what the big one is. So
Yeah.
you have to put that one last. But then leading up to that, we can have like sort of like the sillier ones.
Yeah. So we're going to have, I'll run through the categories that we're going to go over. We're going to have our favorite movie of the year
That's
from
last.
movies that released this year.
Yeah, that's last.
Best TV show or short that released this year. Figure of the year. Best thing we watched for the pod this year, regardless of what year it came out. Also, special rules to that is that it does not have to be the movie of the year, because I feel like if it was the movie of the year, it would sweep a lot of these categories. So it's going to be best show or movie that we watched this year besides the movie of
Yeah,
the
it'd
year.
be like Return of the King.
Yeah. On the flip side, it's going to be the worst thing we watched for the pod this year. And oh boy, when I skimmed through our episodes of what we did this year, when there was not new content out, like we went back, we watched a lot of shit movies this year. On the more individual awards, there's going to be the best and worst new kaijus of the year, best and worst new human characters of the year, our sidekick of the year, and then I gave myself a little bonus MVP character of the year, which I kind of thought up on the spot earlier. So
An MVP, yeah.
if you have like a bonus category or whatever you'd like to do, so
Sorry.
whoop. Do we just have a little podception where you just played some audio from an earlier podcast into this? So, which category should we start with? An individual award or a show award?
Let's do a show award.
All right. So, what was your favorite show or short that released this year that you saw?
This one was tough to decide because there are two that I thought were really, really good. Those being Blazar and the Godzilla short from Godzilla Day.
The gemstone one
The
or
gemstone one,
okay, yeah.
But I decided I'm going to go with my heart, the gemstone Godzilla one.
Oh, well, that almost took it from me as well. I am giving my award to Blazer.
Yeah,
I have
see?
loved Blazer.
Yeah,
so.
see, I'm the same boat. It's very close, but for me, like I just love that
Yep.
short.
Yeah, that short is. It's just I think Blazer just wins by having like almost 30 episodes.
Yeah.
But that also included other contenders in this category. Could have been Monarch, Gamera Rebirth, Kong, the Skull Island one. I kind of forget what the actual title was already. Moving over to an individual award. What was your best kaiju this year? Best new kaiju this year?
See, this is
And this can also be a variant because I'm going to kind of bend the rules a little bit with the worst kaiju of the year.
Yeah, this is a little tough because there are a couple good ones. Like I thought Shin Ultraman had some good kaijus. Kamen Rider didn't really have kaijus, but like it had cool like different stuff. But again, I am going with the Ion Dragon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna go with Earth Garon, but I figured.
Well, when I did it as I didn't include Earthy, as he's now known,
Yeah.
or Earth Garrett in this category because I was more of a mech. I was thinking along the lines of kaiju. However, it is a Blazer kaiju getting my Kaiju of the Year award, and that is Gatos from episode 3, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
That's the fish one.
Yeah.
That gets like skewered on the sphere by Blazer.
Yeah.
But I thought like that design was really cool. The Bandai figure is totally ridiculous with how phallic the horn thing is that comes out of his head.
I really liked the clean linen kaiju.
The Gavadon?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Gavadon. That's been a very popular one with the internet. So
Yeah.
So Gatos, you are getting my Kaiju of the Year award. What is your worst?
Jeez, my worst kaiju.
Do you want me to go first? Give you a little time to think.
You go first because I'm trying to think and I'm just nah.
So this is going to be maybe a little controversial. My first controversial pick of this award ceremony. I am calling the worst Kaiju of the Year Varas and Gamera Rebirth. And here's why. Varas was so hyped up through all those episodes, and we got a whole slew of awesome fights, and you're just like, all right, this Varas fight is gonna be, the fight to top them all, and Gamera kind of takes Varas out like relatively quickly without too much issue. So Varas, you get my worst kaiju award because you were overhyped, and when the lights were on bright, you didn't deliver on the main stage. I mean, like the Guron fight that happens the episode before, that totally stole the show in that series. That was a work rate match, is what that was.
Yeah,
that was the Steamboat Savage of Gamera Rebirth, was the Guron fight, but people paid to see Gamera Varas, right? So who drew the most money? But either way, Varas, you unfortunately, you kind of fell down a little bit when the lights were on bright, so I'm going worst kaiju of the year with Varas.
I'm gonna troll you. I don't actually think this is the worst.
You're just gonna find a way to say Angerus somehow.
No, I like Angerus. I've always liked Angerus. I've never said anything bad about him.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you.
I'm not Bones Jackson.
Yep.
Space Bones Jackson. No. My plan is to anger the internet.
Oh.
Godzillasaurus. Godzilla -1.
Worst.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he's the little guy.
Do you really feel that in your heart of hearts?
I'm a size queen. he's too small for me.
I guess that is. I thought my take was going to be controversial. Here you are.
Stirring the pot. That's why they call me the Kester.
Let's see. Let's go with best pod thing we watched this year, regardless of what year it came out, excluding, you don't have to include your movie of the year pick.
Yeah, my movie of the year pick and my best thing we watched for the pod are two different things.
Yes, I mean, my movie of the year would have also been best pod thing, but that's why I made that rule, so we have a little variety. Mm-hmm. So what do you got?
I have a tie.
Okay.
So, best thing we did for the pod, Shin Ultraman and Matanga.
I figured Matango was going to be in your list. I did not think you were going to like Matango as much as you did.
Yeah.
And then when I got here and you said you watched it 3 times, I was like, holy shit. I mean, it is really good. I just, I was just surprised how much you liked it. My favorite thing that we watched this year, outside of what will ultimately be my movie of the year pick, is Shin Kamen Rider. I loved Shin Kamen Rider. I have watched it multiple times since.
Yep.
Can't get enough of it. Love that movie.
The ending is so good.
Oh yeah. Now for the worst thing we watched this year, regardless of what year it came out, we should almost do a 3, 2, 1. Say it at the same time. It'll be actually funny if this is not accurate or not. But so we'll go 3, 2, 1. Say it.
Yep.
3, 2, 1. Pulgasari. Yeah. We watched a lot of shit, but not shit like Pulgasari.
Yeah.
Boy, was that was like, I need like a shower after I watched that. So
it was a weird movie.
Okay, we got a few categories left to go. We'll start with sidekick of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go first in this one. I'm going with Doc from -1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've as on my repeated viewings of -1, I've really come to enjoy Doc in -1.
Okay, you almost said mine.
Oh, okay.
But it's almost a tie. Like, I want to give an honorable mention
Sure.
to the Cardinal from Skull Island.
Oh, yeah.
He's like a 1A.
That's a truly defined sidekick.
No,
right
my
there.
sidekick of the year is definitely Dog.
Dog. Oh, yeah. Also from
Skull Island.
Skull Island. Wow, I did 2 characters from Skull Island.
Yeah, that was a good sidekick show. Because I was Dog. I am the dog. Dog did not.
I was choked by water on that one.
Yeah, Dog did not want anyone's shit, and yeah. I felt that. I felt that, Dog.
That's like an anime that I have kind of forgotten about after, like, now that we have gotten like so many months away from it.
Yeah.
you know, although that I was kind of like, when I was looking back, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Skull Island came out this year. And I was like, man, that like penultimate episode was really fucking good.
Yep.
The one that was like the calling flashback one.
Yep.
I was like, oh, I'll have to go back and rewatch that someday. Now we are moving up to the main event categories here. The best new character and worst new character. Why don't you take us off with your best?
Best new character is definitely Shaw.
Okay.
Yeah.
You gonna Shaw overall or Shaw 50s or Shaw 2015s?
Well, they're both the same character. It's just played
yeah.
by two different people. Like, I don't know. He's like, he gets into bar fights in the 50s. He's like fighting for Monarch to like do it right instead of doing it the shitty military way. And in the current times, he's like the leader of the Monarch Splinter Cell.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. He's awesome. Captain Ron, man.
Not like the award will go to Captain Shaw overall, but have you developed a preference yet to either Kurt Russell or Kurt Russell's kid playing the character?
No, like I said, I think they're both doing it really well. Kurt Russell is obviously awesome.
I think I'm actually giving the nod to his kid though,
right.
of the two. Maybe he just had better material to work with. I don't know, but yeah, Shaw's good. Shaw's good pick. Not my pick though. My pick for best character of the year is Takeshi Hongo from Shin Kamen Rider. That is the original Shin Kamen Rider. I thought he did an awesome job playing this dude who is just basically wakes up in this like really fucked up situation and is like this like weird stoic, like emotionally repressed, reluctant superhero. And his performance, I just thought the character was written well, and the way it was performed was just so good. So
the way it ends is just it's very bittersweet.
Yes. My worst character, however, is Kentaro. Kentaro has just really, his stock has just plummeted. Like, I mean, I was trying to almost make it like a basketball equivalent, and I was going to say Derrick Rose, but he never started at D Rose's level. But I don't know. He just has really been a bust, and over the last maybe the last two episodes can redeem him a little bit, but he has not been good outside of like the first two episodes, in my opinion. He's just been very sulky, just just a moping around character, not really contributing much to anything really.
Yeah.
Just, so Kentaro is my worst.
I understand. I feel like you forgot about them, so I'll bring them back up because I was very against them, if you remember. The humans in Skull Island, all of them.
Oh, I was actually kind of thinking about some of them, but it's just something about Kentaro has just really irked me.
Yeah.
But yes, there was a lot of bad human characters in Skull Island.
All of them tied. Congratulations, team.
I am a little tied. It's the entire human cast. Well, this leaves us to our two main event categories. Figure of the year.
This is like best actor for us.
Yes. And disclaimer, this is not like all figures that were released. These are figures that we purchased ourselves. So, maybe there's something else out there, but maybe I didn't get it or something. And so I'm only counting what I purchased this year. I had a final four in my head, kind of all along now.
Well, I got a fave 5, dog.
It was Haya Godzilla, the Bandai DX Earth Garen, Godzilla 73, the Godzilla versus Megalon one, and the Valentine's Day Hedorah figure. The last two being Bandai. So actually 3 Bandai figures and a Haya Godzilla. And I did think long about this, and I'm giving the award to Bandai DX Earth Garen.
As you should.
Super articulated, just as almost as articulated, or about as articulated as the Haya Godzilla is. But you know what? You press a button, he makes noises, and he lights up, wins on that, and just a super fun, super cool figure.
Yeah.
So there you go, earthy, you are my figure of the year.
Earthy also gets my figure of the year, but for my figure of the year that I bought, it was the Hiya Godzilla.
Yeah, it was close. It was really close between the two of those.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's be honest. Hidero was just here for the lulz.
Oh,
but
of course. I like how you call him Valentine's Day Hidero.
That's what it was released as.
Oh.
It was like Valentine's Day Choco Hidero, something like that. It was
I just
like
thought it was chocolate Hidero.
Oh yeah, no, I think they released it on Valentine's Day, which they knew what they were doing. You knew what you were doing. Then also, like, I mean, the Godzilla versus Megalon Godzilla was just that was really, I think that was like the nostalgia just hit hard for that one.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the earthy wins.
Yeah. No, I agree. When you brought over the Earth Garon figure, I was just kind of like blown away at how much I like it.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Also, it's like a $30 figure.
Yeah.
And
you get additions to it.
Yeah.
Like, it's.
And I've never seen a figure where it's like the additional pieces that you get, or maybe this happens a lot. Just to me, this is a new thing where it was like not only do you get like the additional pieces, like as Earth Garon gets like more pieces throughout the show, like it also comes with more sounds that get built in. So, excuse me. So now it's on to the big one.
Oh yeah,
the movie of the year.
We could say this at the same time too.
3, 2, 1. Godzilla minus one.
Yeah, of course,
no doubt.
That was just like I like that more than Shin Godzilla.
Yeah, I think now that I've seen it a few more times, I think I'm actually might also be leaning towards -1 over Shin Godzilla. I hate to pit the two against each other, but I'm more saying that in the sense that like Shin Godzilla, like I walked out of that and I was like, oh, that's like an instant top 3.
Yeah,
and I think -1 has also kind of joined those ranks.
Oh, for me, I was like instantly. I was just like,
yeah,
that was just incredible.
Yeah. I just try to give myself like a little bit of a distance from recency bias, but I think it's been a month now.
I think when I walked out of Shin Godzilla, I was like, okay, there was cool stuff that happened, but like I was like falling asleep during like the third act.
They didn't need to show every single step of the freezing coagulant being made. That was like, you could chop out a good solid few minutes right there of like of no like it's not characters or anything. It's just like development of the freezing coagulant. So
if you ever watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, when Mac tries to explain things, sometimes he'll start looking up at the ceiling and just like because he's lost his spot, he doesn't know what to do. And I felt like that was kind of like almost like what Mac in It's Always Sunny is like when they're trying to explain the coagulant. It's just like Mac explaining something that he doesn't quite understand.
Yeah, but I mean, Shin Godzilla is still an incredible movie.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what can already be said that hasn't been said about -1?
Yeah, we gave it a 5. It's a must-see movie. Movie of the year by far. Not even close.
And probably a movie of the last several years, and probably for many years to come.
Yeah. I did like Shin Ultraman and Shin Kamen Rider too, but -1 was just so much better.
Yeah, we certainly did not. All the new content we got for the most part this year was really, really good. You know, we were like a little critical on some parts of Skull Island, but even like the stuff we're critical on, like Monarch overall, it's been really good. There's a lot of good stuff.
I was critical of the characters at Skull Island, but like I liked what happened, and like I think I remember in the episode like I came around on it by the end of it, but you were expecting me to hate it, so you're like, oh, I didn't expect you to like it so much.
Yeah, I mean, it finishes really strong.
Yeah.
But Gamer Rebirth was really good.
Yep.
Yeah, getting Shin Ultraman, Shin Kamen Rider in the US in this year were really good. You know, Blazar's been like lots and lots of fun. We didn't do it on the pod, but Ultraman Decker got a movie that I watched. I didn't use that in any categories here because I tried to limit just what we actually covered on the pod. Speaking of, Blazar only has one episode left that will probably be in 2 weeks because I don't think they did the recap episode this week. And then we'll be getting the annual Blazar movie, or annual Ultraman wrap up movie in February, which hopefully will be on Ultraman Connection, so I can watch that.
Yeah.
They did that with like Decker last year. It was like you could rent it for like whatever it was, like $4 or $5. You get it for like 24 hours. So I do really like how Ultraman and Kamen Rider, like they have like these like, it's very like Doctor Who-esque in the sense that it's like you get a new Ultraman or you get a new Rider like kind of every year.
It is like that, yeah.
Granted, Doctor Who you get like 3 years, but 3 seasons, but like usually. But and then they always kind of do these kind of like basically
Jodie Whittaker.
No, the new Doctor's really good.
I know. I'm just joking.
I
I just like Jodie Whittaker a lot.
Yeah, Jodie was really good. Chris Chibnall was a fucking terrible script writer though at times, but I could have a whole set. He started off okay, but just that Timeless Child arc. Well, you didn't really watch any Doctor Who, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, there was.
I just like Shaun of the Dead.
Jodie Whittaker's in that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Chris Chibnall was the writer, and he did this other show called Broadchurch that kind of.
I know that.
Kind of flowed like how his Doctor Who run started off really good, and then kind of turns to drizzling shits. So, he did this thing called like the Timeless Child story arc and the Flux in Doctor Who, and I didn't see all the Flux, but the Timeless Child story arc was. Whew. Anyway, that's
That's a good sound.
dry heave. So I like how we kind of get these like extended TV movies that kind of wrap up like the Ultraman run and then the Kamen Rider shows. And so the new Ultraman for next year has already been announced as Ultraman Arc, which we'll probably get a little teaser like we did with Blazer probably at the end of the series. So yeah, a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff out there. Oh yeah, we still have our bonus category. Your MVP or whatever other bonus category you want to call it. Who was your bonus MVP award go to, or could be anything really?
My MVP is Noriko
Okay,
because she
it's a good pick.
pushes the dude out of the way, saves his life.
That makes her the MVP.
She made it so that
Noble cause.
he could fly the plane into Godzilla
Yeah,
and blow up his head.
she was almost my MVP because she was really, when she's not in -1, I feel like that's like the only time -1 I think suffers a little bit because you don't have Koichi and Noriko kind of like interacting with each other, and I thought their dynamic really kind of carried the human stuff really strongly. So, but it's good pick. Mine's probably not a surprise, or maybe it is. I don't know. But Earth Garen is my MVP of the year. Did not think I was going to like Earth Garen as much as I have. Which led to the figure of the year purchase. And then I like that halfway through Blazer, they said, we're going to give you a personality. And Earth Garen can talk now and just kind of, not really so much personality, but gave him like a kind of like a interface that can kind of.
It's like in Pacific Rim, the Black with the AI and the mechs. Yeah,
just super cool looking mech that looks like a combination of Kiryu and like a Dragon Zord and stuff like that mixed together. The suit's very movable, so just a super cool design. Earth Garen, you stole my heart this year.
So I've never made this comparison, but I've been thinking about it. Ultraman and Earth Garen, it's a lot like playing Elden Ring, and when you fight a boss, like you get to summon a spirit to help you. And it's almost like an easy mode or a normal mode for a hard game. Like you don't have to do it. Like you could still play it like one-on-one. But like if you want, you could summon in the spirit to help you. And
they do that I never played Elden Ring. They do that in the Dark Souls games too, right? Or something similar?
Well, sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. It depends on like the story and if you talk to certain characters and did certain things. But this one you could do it for like every boss. And even in some regular areas you could summon them because they're like hard areas or whatever. So it's almost like Ultraman Blazar's got a little bit of that going on. And so like when it's 2-on-1, I'm just like, beat his ass.
Although it's like, I guess Blazar's like who gets summoned in to kind of help. It's like, it kind of like runs the theme where it's like Earthy kind of starts the fight and then becomes the baby face in peril. And Blazer makes the run and makes the save. But
so it's kind of opposite the way it works in Elden Ring where your summon is definitely weaker than you. But like... It's also like I said, it's like a cheap way to get a good win.
Yeah,
like I could beat these all by myself, but I choose to just bring them in so I could beat them in like no time.
Sure. Oh, there's been somewhere Earth Garen kind of won the fight for the team. They did that a handful of times.
Yeah,
that was good. Well, there you go. There's our end of the year awards. But what if we didn't make the rule, I feel like -1 could have like basically cleaned up almost all these categories.
Oh yeah, I wanted to be a little bit more.
Yeah.
Give a little more variety.
Yeah.
Spread it out a little bit.
I mean, like that -1 design could have won like best new kaiju category and stuff like that.
Easy.
So that design has really, really grown on me too.
I've always liked it since the ride and like with the bigger spikes in this.
Yeah.
Like, It looks like how Godzilla should look.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Legendary. Like, that looks like how Godzilla should look.
It was like at first it was kind of like, it's not like too different. That's like different enough. And then like, so I always thought it was good design, but I was like not really like kind of blown away by it. But just like now that it's like been around for a longer bit of time, I just think like, yeah, this might be like quickly growing. It's like one of my favorite designs.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it, well, I assume that design's going to continue. It seems like they are really,
I hope so.
Seems like they're really investing on this being like the new face of Godzilla for Japan, at least anyway.
Oh, one thing we didn't talk about earlier too before we split to the next segment is people are saying that like Toho is going to be taking their time and making sure they do the next Godzilla movie right. So it might not be for a few years. And I'm just kind of like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I saw like a lot of people like react to that comment. I forget who it was from, but I was like, obviously they've been working on it. I was like, you can't tell me there's not story ideas being kicked around Toho like right now. I was like,
that's what I mean. Like, it'd be awesome if they announced like this year at Godzilla Day, like next year, the following year at Godzilla Day, there'll be another.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we're going into Godzilla's 70th birthday this year. So,
that's what I mean. So like, why not announce the next one at this year's, and then like, you have the full next year to do it again,
right?
Similar to what they did last.
Or
year.
I can see like they'll probably have like 2 years or something like that. Like they could announce this year, have 2 years.
I'm assuming they've already started working on it.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
That's why I'm saying.
Yeah. I just thought that was just kind of like a lot of people like kind of read a lot into that. I was like, this is just kind of like corporate fluff line. I was like, there's money in the mills. You gotta tell me, like, I was like, this company's been churning out like Godzilla content like nonstop since like
for real
since the Legendary series kicked off. Like I was like, they did the anime trilogy, Shin Godzilla, Singular Point, and now -1 in a short window of time. And I was like, plus we get shorts now like every year. I was like, believe me, there's gonna be something coming soon. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway, so that
no, I took it as a good thing. I'm like, good, make it as good as you can. That's what you should do.
Absolutely. And like, I mean, like that, like if they're gonna leave the director and the writer at the helm, like, it seems like he has a vision in his head that he sees this Godzilla being, and I hope he remains the head because I am on board with his vision and the ideas he's done and the way he's presented Godzilla since, he did the ride, which as short as that was, I thought it was still like that kind of shows like how like a monster fight could work in this like kind of -1 timeline. Like granted, again, it's like a 3D roller coaster ride or whatever, but like it's just done with like a grittiness and like a realism that I think like that would work well. Ultimately when you do introduce monster fights in this -1 timeline. So keep at it. Take your time. Do what you gotta do.
The ride is definitely sort of like a teaser on what they could do with like the first monster being like King Ghidorah or Rodan or something like that.
Well, my headcanon is that is -1 Godzilla's future until somebody tells me otherwise.
Yeah.
That's just a glimpse into the future of that of that same Godzilla. That's my headcanon until I hear otherwise. Although that the King Ghidorah design is like funny because it like kind of has hands.
Yeah, he's crawling around like Godzilla and Legend.
Yeah, he's got like claws like at the he has like claws instead of just like strong nubs or whatever. So I was like, he could like grip something if he tried hard enough.
He's got the gravity thing too.
Yeah. The I almost said Mavity, but that was a Doctor Who callback that you have not been made aware of yet.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. This was reflex. I mean it's good. Like, they're called gravity beams for a reason. Glad they anyway. Yeah. We still got one more segment, which can be fast because I've only got one purchase.
And I have none. I almost made one, but I decided to make some changes.
Gotcha. Yes, I understood. So it's I realized I have a lot of pre-orders sitting around, but nothing that's actually come in yet, and probably won't come in for a few more weeks. And then, but anyway, it's again a Super 7 reaction figure, but this one I think you would. If you have seen it, I think you would agree this is actually kind of a cool one. I know. It's the Godzilla 54 skeleton one. Have you seen this?
I've seen it, yeah.
So this is actually the only one I've kept sealed in the box because it comes like in this box with like a window where it's that figure laying on like the ocean floor.
Nice.
And like it comes with an oxygen destroyer too.
Nice.
And it has like little 3D like rocks kind of like poked up and stuff like that. And so like it looks like it's like this very awesome like It's like if you had like I have it on like my like office desk at home, like where I work remotely, and it's like just it's really cool like piece like that, like kind of put together in this like nice window box. And it's cool they did like the G-54 skeleton and that you got a little oxygen destroyer. So that was my only figure of the last 2 weeks, probably because we did have a Christmas holiday in the middle. So, but hopefully I'll have plenty more purchases next time. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully me too in the future, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
We're also looking a little bit of a lull of like releases right now. Like, I mean, the Godzilla Kong New Empire stuff hasn't made its way to us yet.
Yeah, once that happens,
and I'm not scalping new figures. That's just absurd.
Oh no, yeah, I don't do that. I don't play those games.
Yeah, absolutely not.
I want those people to be sitting on a stockpile of stuff they can't move.
So, it's just there hasn't really been any like new Bandai releases. There hasn't really been. Yeah, we're just like in this like lull period right now. There's just like not a lot of new stuff coming out. And my eBay searches for older stuff has just not really turned up anything.
Yeah.
So just a weird lull time.
There's the 1200 degrees Celsius Super 7 that we talked about last time. That's really cool, but I'm not spending the $85 for it.
Oh, after I do feel a lot better about my Super 7 Ultimate -1 pre-order after watching the reviews for the Destroyer and the Meltdown Godzilla, because like those did look like awesome figures.
That's what I mean. Like,
and I was like, okay,
the Meltdown one in particular one.
I feel much more comfortable about my this is going to be a good quality figure. Mm-hmm. So maybe it was just the first 89 one just didn't look good to me, but the repaint of it
was Chuck and Billy.
No, the repaint though that was based on the Dark Horse comic cover. That looked like a much more improved version of that figure. Mm-hmm. So, all right. So I'm feeling better, but the pre-order for that figure closes like in the beginning of January. So, hopefully my Baggin figure will finally ship. That'll be cool.
Your Bilbo Baggin?
Yeah. That was like, here's what I've learned. When you order stuff from the Godzilla US store, like they are going to import it from Japan first. Mm-hmm. After the pre-order closes, and then they're going to ship it to you. If I had ordered it like I originally had it from like the Japan Godzilla store, or Hobby Link, although I don't know if Hobby Link had it. I don't remember if it was the Godzilla store exclusive or not. But either way, if you ordered it from the Japanese Godzilla store website, you would have had the figure already. Like you would have had the figure back in November.
Yeah.
However, this is not one that like I needed to have right away. The difference is you buy it from the US store. They're not going to get it in right away, but you pay like $7 in shipping. Whereas like through Bai to import it, it's like almost like $35 to ship it. So I was like, you know what? I'll save $30 on shipping. Shipping costing more than the figure. So, so that's all right. It got a little delayed, but I do appreciate that on their website they have like a list of like delayed items that will tell you like when the new, like it's not a mystery, right? Like how I had to chase like Mezco for like a response for about 4 months on like.
Yeah, they I don't know what happened. They turned it to what's that company out in Norwood? The Ultimo Dragon company, where it's like Q1 2023.
Boss Fight Studios.
Yeah. I was just like, hey, you said Q1 for this Ultimo Dragon. It's September.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Like all of the Mezco stuff has been like a little delayed than like their original release, but like they used to be really, really good at updating, going like, okay, this is now going to be, July when we said May or something like that. And like that sort of delay, I don't really care about that. But this was like the Mechagodzilla set just never got updated.
Yeah.
Like, and it was like supposed to ship in May or June. I forget which it said originally. And then it was like
August, nothing's coming.
August got no response. September, no response. It finally shipped at like the end of October, beginning of November.
Yeah.
And like, it's fine. Like delays happen, but
just tell people.
Update your site. So I can at least know you're paying attention to it.
Yeah.
Mezco is not a tiny company, but there's been so many other smaller, more independent toy companies that it's like these delays just kind of happen. Then you don't get a response, don't get a response. The next thing you know, it's canceled. So like, just is what it is. But
and that's what I mean. It's like tell the people, because like a lot of this like collector stuff is like people who are eager to get it.
Yeah.
Like you don't have much casual people like going after these. These are like for the people, for the diehards.
Yeah.
So like the better you keep them informed, like the less you're going to have to talk to people individually. You know what I mean?
Being transparent is will always let people have faith, even if like your stuff gets delayed. As long as you're transparent about it, like that gives a lot of goodwill to your customers.
Take
being
note,
transparent.
St. Louis PD.
I don't know what that's a reference
Oh,
to.
I'll tell you off.
Okay. But just be like transparent to your customers, and like they will it'll just get you goodwill. That's all. There you go. Good end of the year message.
No, yeah.
Goodwill.
I couldn't agree with that more.
Goodwill.
I don't have any end of the year messages. 2023 stunk. But what do we got coming up in 2024?
Well, in the immediate future, we're going to the last 2 episodes of Monarch.
Yep.
So we'll take it from there.
All right.
I don't know. Wacky adventures ahead.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Tumultuous. Terrifying. So awesome it will shock you to the core. Beyond the unbelievable.